What is up, y'all? This is Two Jersey Kids, episode 18. I am one of your hosts, Adam Buckingham, alongside my good friend, Gary Seisel, the best stick handler in the business. How you doing today, Gary? What is up?
I am doing swell. Actually, I'm doing amazing because my college career has actually come to an end.
That's fantastic. Congrats. Everyone say congrats to Gary on Twitter at RealScavenger18. I'm sure he would love it.
Yeah, I would absolutely appreciate it. It was a long, arduous road, but it kind of went by fast at the same time. So a hard thing to describe, really. But yeah, thank God it's over.
It feels slow at the time when you're in college, but then when you look back, you're like, oh shit, that went by rather quickly, more quickly than I expected.
All the semesters, I would say, all the semesters went by fast, but then like the last week or two of college, like really drug on. Like it was trying to like just torture me. It was terrible. But now it's over.
That's what college for, is to torture you. I know my senior year was kind of rough. I thought, thinking in senior year it's going to be like smooth sailing, like, oh, the teachers probably don't care, but now I got one teacher that was just a pain in the ass, wanted us to present constantly. So what have you been up to now that you are done school? Are you just playing video games to your heart's content? Content? That's the right way to say it. I should say it right.
Well, I haven't done much gaming over the past week or so, but I have been playing. I mean, the only game I've really been playing like a lot is Stardew Valley.
This is shocking, ladies and gentlemen.
But yeah, I'm just working on my farm. I'm actually in. I think I'm right outside of like winter in year one, so I'm close to getting to year two of this game. So I've been basically like my farm's pretty much set up at this point. I'm probably going to add more onto it in year two, but. I've been mining a lot, trying to get to the bottom of the mine. I'm at level 40. For those that don't know, it's kind of like that's like the combat of the game. Like you go down to the mine, you fight monsters, collect loot.
What type of combat is actually in Stardew Valley? Like I know.
So, there's types of combat. Like you have like swords, obviously, but
it's like is it turn based or is it just like you swing and you hit something?
Yeah. You swing and you can like really mash the square button. So like what I'll do is like sometimes you get like surrounded by enemies and you have to like just fucking swing your way out of shit. So I'm
swing
just like
away,
mashing.
Gary.
I'm like breaking my controller to fight off all these guys. It's pretty hilarious.
You run through another controller because the Stardew Valley made you destroy the square button.
I would say that normally, but my controllers have actually held up.
That's shocking.
Yeah. Well, considering I ran through about 4 controllers in the beginning of my PlayStation career or PlayStation 4 career.
4?
Yeah, and it wasn't like one of them I legitimately broke. That was my bad. But the other ones just broke on me, like just stopped working.
How'd you legitimately break it? Did you get angry at a game, Gary?
Yeah,
was that what
absolutely.
happened?
Yeah.
What game?
Yeah,
what game did you get pissed off and throw it at the wall?
It was Destiny.
What'd you do? Did you throw it on the ground? What happened?
It was kind of bad luck because I got pissed off and I threw my controller down, but the way it landed, it like skidded into the baseboard on the wall, and it just like broke a button off of it. I was like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, I immediately hated myself after doing it.
Insult to injury. I remember I've definitely broken a few controllers in my day, and afterwards it feels good at the time, and then you're like, "Shit, I just broke a pretty expensive controller." I remember I accidentally. Because I think it was probably Halo or Call of Duty, one of them on the 360, threw down my controller. I accidentally like indented the RB button, so I was never able to use it again. So it's like instant regret right when you throw that controller.
Especially because like when you're younger, if you break a controller, you can just make something up and your parents buy you a new one. But then when it's like adulthood, you're just like, fuck, I gotta spend $60 on a new controller right now. It's terrible.
Yeah, because controllers are pretty expensive. It's pretty expensive piece of hardware that you have to buy if you accidentally fuck up. Or you can get the crazy ass third party controllers that sometimes are really janky and don't work. Even though I did get a good third party controller for the PS3 back in the day. I forget what it was, what company made it, but it would connected through USB, which it was a wired controller, but it had the same setup as like a 360 controller. So instead of like the analog sticks on the bottom, you had like one more comfortably up top, like the 360. It's basically a 360 controller just in just PS3 buttons, which I really enjoyed And now with PS4 having that damn touchpad, it's kind of hard. I know they did make third-party controllers, but they look really beefy and kind of ugly.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I went back to PS3 not too long ago to play some Oblivion. Those controllers, I used to not have a problem with them. Like, I mean, I didn't like them that much at the time, even when I was playing a lot of PS3. But now that we have the PS4 controllers, which are just so much better, I go back to PS3 now, and I just feel like I could break this controller in half with ease, like if I wanted to.
Especially when they didn't have the rumble feature, and it just felt so light. It had that stupid 6-axis thing. That's why, because you wanted to do the 6-axis control scheme, which was the dumbest invention or decision of all time. That was just ridiculous. Especially when they put it into Uncharted. Wasn't that like when you had to walk across the beam? You had to hold it steady. So stupid. Yeah, it's so stupid.
It's so dumb, yeah. That was the best part about the remaster of that game, is the fact that I could go back with playing PS4, playing Uncharted, and just not have to worry about that shit anymore. Because you have to throw grenades like that, too. You would have to, like, aim... You'd be like, you're middle of combat, you have bullets flying at your face. You're like, hold on a second, guys. I got to aim my controller up real quick and throw this grenade.
Yeah, it just made it sounds like a little gripe, but it made it more uncomfortable. You having to find the perfect spot for it to like detect or moving up, so you're not like having the controller up in the air or whatever, so it doesn't like fuck up and you blow yourself up.
Yeah, it just didn't really help the flow of the game. Let's put it that way.
They got over it though. Uncharted 2.
Yeah.
They're like, F this. No, they like. I think they got rid of like doing the stupid shoehorned in 6-axis controls like within a year or two because that was just so stupid. It was not necessary at all.
PS3 didn't really have the best of launches. Let's put it that way. I didn't own one right from the beginning. I got one like 3 years into its life cycle.
Yeah, the fact that they said in their conference, "Oh, you can get another job for this this console." It's like that doesn't really send off the right vibes.
Yeah, like, what the hell is that?
well, if you guys, after this 7-minute spiel, if you guys didn't know, this is Two Jersey Kids. We release episodes most of the time every Tuesday and Friday. Unfortunately, we didn't release one this Tuesday due to personal reasons, which I may get to eventually in coming episodes when I'm ready to talk about it. But this is the Friday episode that's in your ear holes right now. Me and Gary are... I flew down to Florida, so if it doesn't sound properly right now, it's because I'm not using my normal stuff. So if it sounds like a congealed mess, it's probably because it is. But thank you again for being here. If you're a new listener, please hit that subscribe button. If you're a current listener, please give us a rating on iTunes. We prefer 5 stars because who doesn't like 5 stars? When you get 5 out of 5, why would you want anything less? But thank you for being here, and I guess we'll roll into the topics. I mean, actually, I can get into what I've been playing. Would you like to hear, Gary?
Shoot.
Yeah, so with all the difficulty that's been going on in my life, I decided to... It was a pretty depressing time, so I was pretty sad, and I decided to give Tales from the Borderlands a shot. I already played through episode 1. I really enjoyed it. It made me laugh, episode 1, and then I figured I'd give it a shot while I'm sort of sad, and I was kind of shocked that the storytelling and the acting made me laugh so much. It was definitely well deserved, and it kind of made me think about like the importance that video games do play into people's roles, whether it be any type of entertainment, whether movies or books or any type of entertainment. People have YouTube where it offers people an escape, which is what Tales from the Borderlands did for me, which I'm really appreciative of. But it was fantastic storytelling. You honestly... Because I know I was telling you to go get it because it was only like $1.50 during one sale, all 5 episodes. Well worth it. I don't think you really need to know everything that's going on in the past Borderlands games to understand what's happened. Really, I think it's pretty self-explanatory about what's going on. They're completely different characters. They add in some characters from Borderlands, but they don't play a major role except for one. But you can sort of get the grip of who he is right off the bat. But I really enjoyed the storytelling. It's kind of basically a video game, pick your own adventure, choose your own adventure. You remember those books?
Hell yeah. Choose
your own adventure. Go to page 47. You die. But I really love Tales from the Borderlands. I beat it. another positive of those Telltale games. Whenever you beat the game, you just get a platinum. You don't have to do anything else. You just go through the game. At the end, you get that platinum trophy, which is fantastic.
What?
Yeah, you go through every actual episode. You get a gold, and then when you beat the game, you get a platinum. You beat all 5. Yeah. So I got my 3rd platinum.
I've never even had a platinum before because 3D3, arcade, NHL. I had every single trophy, but they didn't have a platinum for that game, so I got screwed out of a platinum trophy.
Yeah, I don't understand why developers don't include platinums, because I feel like that adds longevity to the game, because some people really, if they really enjoy the game, they want to get that platinum to indicate that their time was well worth it. I don't know, some people may say that having that platinum trophy is definitely not worth your time, but some people may enjoy collecting and having that, having that image on their PS4 saying, yeah, I am a true gamer. I went through that. I completed it.
I mean, I'm not really much of a trophy hunter, but I mean, if I'm close to a platinum trophy, I'm going to go for it. And like in that case, I had to beat a team online 10-0. You know how hard that is to do, especially in that game. And I did that. The guy messaged me angrily afterwards saying that I was an asshole, but beat him.
Why would he get mad? Is it the fact that you were good at the game? Don't hate the player. Hate the game, or hate the fact that you're bad at it.
It was. I don't want to go off on another tangent.
No, go for
it. In that game, I mean, all rules are. So basically, it's NHL Arcade 3v3, and all the rules are non-existent. So you can do whatever you want. It has all the mechanics of an NHL game. So I would just light people up without the puck. I would take everybody out, take him out, skate down the ice on a breakaway score, or I would like dive and trip people.
Yeah, I remember that game. That was a fantastic game. I remember we would just alternate who was going to play online, and we just got to like a ridiculous record. We had like 70-some wins or something, and only like 20 losses. It was insane.
I was good at that game, man. We would have like these crazy comebacks.
Mm-hmm.
It was so
fucking when you had free time as a child. But I also played this week Trove because it was free. I decided to give it a shot. I feel like it's a fun, cute little MMO. It's stylized in the Minecraft style. You basically fight little tiny dungeons where you fight like bosses. They're very intricately designed, all the dungeons. It's not even dungeons, it's kind of like towers. They all feel like pretty different. I like the art style. It's cutesy, Minecraft looking. Your characters look cute. You collect the loot kind of like Diablo style, so you keep getting better. It's basically just, if you're into collecting loot and getting your character better and better, like grinding to get to different worlds, this game is definitely for you because it's free and you can play it while you're, watching, a TV show, because it doesn't take too much effort to play this game. It's not like you need your full attention. There's no crazy story that's happening so far that I've seen that you need to pay attention. It's just more kind of like collectathon, basically. Not collectathon, loot whatever.
Lootathon.
Yeah, sure. Let's make up that term. That's good.
You heard it here first. Coined it.
Gary, you're brilliant. Should we move on into the topics, or do you want to just keep talking?
Nah, I want to ruin everybody's time by not actually getting into a show. It's one of those episodes where we just completely fool our audience.
Yeah, just never get into the topics, because maybe we didn't have any, or maybe there was nothing going on this past week because all the games media has been taking it off. Probably developers too.
It's partially true.
Yeah,
actually.
There's barely anything from what I can see, so expect some Switch and Super Mario Run, which is about to happen because there wasn't much else. But I guess I'll get into the topics, shall I?
Let's rock and roll.
All right. Super Mario Run downloaded 40 million times in 4 days. Samit Sakar over at Polygon writes, Super Mario Run, the first mobile game starring everyone's favorite Italian plumber, was downloaded more than 40 million times worldwide in its first 4 days of release, Nintendo announced today. That figure represents an App Store record for fastest downloaded game, said Phil Schiller, Senior Vice President for Worldwide Marketing at Apple, in a press release from Nintendo. However, the companies did not clarify which app held the previous 4-day record. Apple said in July that Pokemon Go racked up the most first-week downloads in the App Store history, although neither Apple nor Nintendo gave a specific figure at the time for the number of downloads. In the case of Super Mario Run, the figure seems to exceed download numbers from various analytic firms. Launch day estimates varied from 2.85 million to 5 million. App Annie initially told Polygon that it pegged the figure at 3.5 million downloads in 14 hours, and then updated with a total of 10 million for the game's first 24 hours of release. Super Mario Run launched last Thursday and quickly shot up to the top of the App Store charts in countries around the world. Nintendo said the game currently sits at the top spot in the free apps rankings in 140 countries and regions, and the top 10 highest grossing apps in 100 markets. But Super Mario Run's availability means it's difficult to make apples-to-apples comparison with titles like Pokemon Go. I think that's basically it for the story. While Super Mario Run is free to download, customers can only play the first 3 levels. They must play $9.99, if you didn't know, to unlock the rest of the game. App Annie estimated that 4% of people who downloaded Super Mario Run within its first 3 days of release went on to pay for the full product. If that held up for the first 4 days, that would suggest sales of $16 million, revenue that Nintendo and Apple split 70-30. Pretty impressive.
I'm not too surprised by the download numbers, given how accessible it is for a lot of people to download the game. Like not almost everybody, but a lot of people obviously have iPhones. So I think it was actually a really smart decision, now you think about it, that they actually put this Apple Run, Mario Run on the Apple Store, or God damn it, the App Store. I can't really speak.
It's close enough. Apparently. Apple app, but close enough.
Yeah, but some of these reviews are interesting from the game, though. I was wondering how. I mean, obviously you can look at like critics and everything, but I kind of like looking at the user reviews
where they say random shit.
Well, because I feel like the user reviews are more honest sometimes, except for the people that give this game like a 1, because that's obviously not really the case.
Like a lot of Metacritic, most of the time it's 10s or 0s, which it's like so drastic. No one really ever rates it in between, it seems like.
Yeah, I mean, from the reviews I'm looking at right here, a lot of people seem to like the game, but they just disagree with the price. Like, I can't even say this name because it's not actually a name; it's just a bunch of letters. Like the guy just took his fingers and just ran him over the keyboard. But anyway, he said he says that the gameplay is amazing, but he thinks that the game should have a maximum cost of $5. And then like the other person here also says the same thing. Like a more acceptable price would have been $4.99, $5.99. He suggests waiting for the price to drop. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, apparently the staying online constantly is really annoying. Apparently there's limited tickets. I'm not exactly sure what that pertains to into the game, but I'm assuming that it's once you get past a certain amount of tickets that you are using, you probably have to pay for more unless you buy the game in full or something like that.
I'm not sure exactly. I mean, I wanted to give it a shot, but I like that they put a price point on it because they believe in this game. However, from what I'm hearing is that I think there's an article saying, oh yeah, I have it up at Forbes saying by Paul Tassi, titled "I beat Super Mario Run in the first hour. Now what?" So apparently it doesn't take people too long to beat the game. It says, since games launched earlier today, I've beaten Super Mario Run, as in I've beaten the World Tour portion of 24 total levels, and I've played quite a few games of Toad Rally to boot, which gets you extra cash and prizes. He continues saying the game's undeniably fun and represents a new level of quality of the mobile space. But it's pretty sad that it's only... because I remember seeing people playing it, and there's different worlds, but there's only, I think, 5 or 4 in each. Well, it would make sense if it's 4, and then there's 6 different worlds. Like, how Mario, it's like 1-1 and then 1-2. That's pretty sad if it's $10 and you only get 24 worlds. That seems like, I don't know. You think as like a mobile app, you would give a lot more content when you're definitely charging $10. I don't know. Maybe they plan on in the future adding on to it. Maybe that $10 is conditional, saying, hey, we're going to add more levels to it in the future. Hopefully they don't do it where it's like downloadable content where you have to pay more money to get it.
Yeah, well, this one, this review is pretty funny. So the guy gives it a 3. His name is the guy's name is Dave is Online.
Oh, nice.
He has a real name. Now, I at first I thought this was going to be one of those rant type of reviews, but he goes, "I love the aesthetics, love the Toad challenge. Controls take some time getting used to, but I can't play this game on my daily commute, and the subway is always lacking, I guess, phone reception."
Yeah.
And he's like, "God damn it, Nintendo!" Being all in caps. So
yeah, the fact that it's always online is probably pretty troubling for people that are traveling on the subway or metro system and don't have access to Wi-Fi to connect to the game, which I feel like is really kind of dumb. But that's just my opinion. What was I saying? Keep going.
Worth noting is the user score of this game is about, I don't know, 2 to 3, about 2 points below what the critics rate it. So the user score is about 5.6 on Metacritic, interestingly enough.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's maybe representative of people that actually play it in normal day life, whereas critics normally play it as in the optimal condition, especially in the App Store. They're probably going to play it in the office. They're just analyzing the game, not the whole process behind it, the whole ordeal that you have to go through. Yeah, the whole package. That's why I have you on here, Gary, to help me with the words.
Yeah, a lot of negatives though. I mean, it's like there's one guy. It's like 10. This is a great game, fun for all ages, and then there's people like, I hate my life because I played this game. So
damn, that's harsh. That's real harsh. I don't know how you feel about the aesthetic. I really miss the old like Super Mario World, Mario 3 aesthetic, and now they're making it really. I don't like the new aesthetic for the 2D Mario games, at least.
Well, it's different from what a lot of people are used to. Like, these games are classics and they look like a certain way, and when they're changed, it just kind of like it changes the feel of the game. It doesn't feel like the same game anymore.
Yeah, I don't like the 2.5D style. I like 2D when it comes to platforming games. I don't know, but that's just me.
It's funny because when Crash Bandicoot was announced like being remastered, I looked at those graphics and it was just unbelievable. Like, I really enjoyed how they approached that. I guess it's just one of those games that you can actually get away with that more. So,
yeah, because those games are polygon based and not sprite based, not pixel art style where it was handcrafted, and whereas polygon based, it kind of looked pretty crappy, to be honest, back in the day when you look back at it now. So I feel like an update was definitely needed for the art style now that technology has caught up.
And they killed it. I know I've said that before.
Yeah.
It looks ridiculous.
It looks ridiculous. Moving on. January's Xbox One backwards compatibility lineup has been teased. Eddie Machuch over at GameSpot writes, Xbox executive Phil Spencer has teased January looks like a, quote, pretty good, quote, month for Xbox One's backward compatibility catalog. His comment came on Twitter in response to someone who asked if he could pre-announce a backwards compatibility game as he did in the past with Blue Dragon. Spencer didn't do that this time, instead saying only that, quote, January looks pretty good for backwards compatibility, end quote. In another tweet, Spencer spoke more generally about backwards compatibility and its appeal. Quote, Back Combat was good as it brought a bunch of nostalgia back without all the games needing to be redone or rebought, end quote, the executive said. Spencer added, quote, I love that backwards compatibility is bringing great games to people who didn't get to play on 360, end quote. So, yeah, he teased, I guess it was teased. I don't know what games were teased. I thought there would be a list of what games were teased, but I guess not.
I have a slight question. So someone that obviously plays PlayStation all the time and doesn't really have an Xbox, this backwards compatibility, so I'm looking at the frequently asked questions right now on Microsoft's website. So is this like a subscription-based service that you have to pay for?
No.
So what you're saying is that PlayStation now sucks. Because I haven't subscribed to that service, nor will I ever. But why? I mean, this seems like such a better way of approaching a backwards compatibility
Agreed.
scheme, if I can use that word. But I would love to have this type of thing on PlayStation, and not something I have to pay like extra for. I already bought these games in the past. I mean, why do I have to pay? What is it, $9.99? Is that how much it is per month?
I don't know what
Yes,
it.
no?
I don't know what it is for per
Whatever
month.
it is too much.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if it was per month. If it had a better way of playing the games instead of the whole, streaming it over Wi-Fi where it's like input lag. Whereas in this case, backwards compatibility, it's downloaded then emulated through an Xbox 360 emulator on Xbox One. And however they did that,
Yeah.
I believe that's what they do.
Yeah, like you're installing the game on your console. You're not like just seriously streaming it. Like it's a disaster waiting to happen.
And it's pretty good. It's pretty great when I come back to my Xbox One. Oh, I forgot to mention that I was playing Gears of War 4, which I'm a little iffy on right now. Not gonna lie, I missed the old Gears where it had a creepy vibe. I'm in Act 2, and right now I've only been fighting robots, and I'm not a fan of it. I don't like robots. I wanted to be. I missed this. I missed this. It felt more like an action movie fighting off robots. I'm like, that doesn't scare me. I don't care. But the Locust felt felt back playing Gears 1 Gears 1 to 3, it sort of started becoming more and more action-oriented. But it still had those heavy, scary, suspenseful moments and great storytelling. Where this Gears 4, sorry, I'm going on a tangent now, but Gears 4, sort of, I don't know, I miss, in Gears games, there used to be quiet moments where you would walk and you would have discussions throughout what's going on, and then you get to the fighting, but it felt like there was a longer gap and more exploration portions of it. Whereas this, I don't know, maybe it's just because I don't like the aesthetic of fighting off robots. It seems like it's literally, you fight one wave, you move up one section, you stop for a second, open a door, and then all of a sudden, bang, you're fighting again. There's no space between. There's no calm moments. Doesn't seem. It kind of reminds me of why I didn't like the one James Bond movie, Quantum of Solace. I know this is random, but I didn't like that movie because it was literally just bang, 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 action constantly. And for me, I need the in-between moments where you take a breather from all the action. You're taking a breather from the fighting. And I don't know, I just felt... And also, to be honest, chainsawing a robot doesn't feel nearly as good as chainsawing a creepy-ass locust where the guts and everything are flying everywhere. It just doesn't feel the same. Maybe I'll get to that... Maybe I get to that point. I don't know. Maybe the Locust will come back, which they've already, shockingly, portions of them popped up. I guess learn more, but it just doesn't feel like the Gears that it feels like they're trying to be Gears instead of having their own spin on it. They're trying to emulate what it was previously and not putting their own spin on it and making it their own. It feels like it's just like them trying to capture what Gears was instead of trying their own way at it, where I feel like 343 has been doing a pretty decent job with Halo with putting their own spin on it versus trying to copy. Yeah.
Oh, so different companies. Yeah. That kind of blows. See, that's... All right, well, damn it, I can't do this. Well, maybe I can. Okay. I didn't want to get off on another tangent, but I will.
It's okay. So, you don't have that many stories, and I feel like this episode may run longer because I'm not positive if we're gonna do one next week. We'll make sure to keep you posted on Twitter, though.
But yeah, it's kind of like how it was with Knights of the Old Republic back in the day with BioWare, and then switching over to Obsidian with the sequel. There's just two totally different games right there. Two totally different feels. They're just.
But Obsidian made it their own, didn't they?
Oh yeah, they're polar opposites. Like Star Wars: Knights of the Old Republic, the first game was like the true Star Wars game. You felt like you were in a Star Wars movie, and then the second one, which I've shifted over into liking a little bit more than the first one actually over the years as I've become an adult,
more mature.
Exactly. I actually think that game is slightly better because it's more of like it's a realistic version of what the Star Wars universe would be if you were actually if you were living real life in Star Wars. That's what it would be like. Like dark, people are always hunting you down, trying to kill you. Like it was just so well done, but they were rushed in production. They couldn't put everything in the game that they wanted to, and the console version ended up being stripped down. However, if you had the PC version, which I actually bought later on, they have mods for that game which replace all the missing pieces, and the game is
Phenomenal.
choice. Yeah, I mean, because it explains so much of what's going on that you wouldn't have known in the console games. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing when two different studios. I kind of don't like when two different studios like work on the same title, because I feel like you run the risk anyway of things just being missing from the game that made the game great, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's like what, like I was saying before. At least with Knights of the Republic, they put their own spin on it. They felt like it was their own, whereas I felt like Coalition sort of tried to copy what Epic did. I don't know. It doesn't feel. It feels like what's the proper word? Can't think of the proper word. Gary, you're supposed to help me out on this. Like a copy. I can't. It's on the tip of my brain right now. It feels like it's trying to be something it's not. Basically, it's trying to be up to that standard. It's trying to be that thing, but it never can be because they're not the studio that brought it. So they have to find a way to put their own spin on it to make it different. That's the whole point of it. And I don't think putting in robots and fighting robots is going to make it different enough. You can still have the same aesthetic, but I don't know. Because Gears of War 1 holds like such a important, like, it was an important part of my life. I remember playing that game. I played it for so long with so many of my friends. It's such a great game, and I remember playing the Ultimate Edition or the Definitive Edition when it came out. When I got my Xbox One, I got it for, I think, free. And I remember playing it, and I'm like, wow, the main story is so good. It has such like a creepy and horror, suspenseful tone that I feel like is missing in this game. Like I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. But that's just me. But I guess after that tangent, we should move on. But before I was going to say, before I got onto this tangent, is that when I went on to going to play Gears of War 4, I thought it was nice when I was looking at the My Games, and then all of a sudden different games were added like for 360 that I could download based on like what I had previously.
That's cool.
So it was like a pleasant surprise seeing like, oh, this extra game now is available for backwards compatibility if you want to download it and play it again. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I didn't expect that. So yeah, that's always nice. It's like a little Christmas present.
Cool.
Look at that, relating it to Christmas. Who's a genius? Me. Moving on. Nintendo Switch might double its GPU speeds while docked. Gordon Gotzingen over at CNET writes, the Nintendo Switch is a console you can connect to your TV or take it with you on the go, but recent rumors suggest you might want to leave it at home. Speculation suggests that the docked console outperforms the handheld version with better resolution and double the GPU, according to Eurogamer. Nintendo is expected to reveal more about the Switch in January, leading up to a prospective March release. So Eurogamer's rumors spec analysis gives us an idea of what to expect. The site reports that the mobile Switch will have a 720 pixel resolution, but a 1080p resolution while docked. That's a lot more than to-go mode, but still a lower resolution in raw numbers compared to the high-end smartphones like Samsung S7. The mobile Switch console could achieve GPU speeds of 307.2 megahertz, while the docked GPU is said to reach speeds twice as fast at 768 megahertz. The CPU speed is expected to stay the same whether the console is docked or not.
This is
had a feeling that was going to happen.
Yeah, this isn't too surprising. I mean, I was wondering before, of course, I read the rest of this article, how much it was going to drop off. I didn't think it was going to be more than half, but yeah, they achieved that.
It'll be interesting to see is it going to be noticeable when you? Obviously, when you're taking it a handheld when it's originally supposed to be on the dock, you're taking it off. You're going to see noticeably different, especially because the console right now is really small, and it doesn't have those teraflops, that Pascal chip. All the teraflops gone.
Oh God, God help us.
But I don't, is it going to be noticeable? Is there going to be drop off? Is it going to be like slow? Because it's going to differ between different games. Are they going to have suggestions on like the box saying like, "Oh, don't take this on the go because it's going to be ridiculous"? Are people review sites going to have to, when they're reviewing the Switch, do reviews specifically like, "Oh, if it's playing on the dock, how it runs and how it plays on the go"? That's like I feel like that's kind of interesting to see how reviews are going to take this new game playing.
I don't want to make any guarantees, but I bet you that this is going to be an issue at some point for them. Whether it's like individual game companies can't, like how are gaming companies now are going to have to adjust to that somehow. Like they're going to have to make sure that when their game is being played on the go, it still looks presentable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I almost feel like that's going to add like an extra. I might add more work for these gaming companies now. To make sure their games can be played on the go and look decent. That might be kind of a pain in the ass. Like if you remember with like PlayStation 3, it was really hard to program for that console.
Mm-hmm.
So like a lot of people just stayed away from it. Could it be the same thing now with Nintendo Switch because of the drop off? Like I mean, it makes you wonder.
Yeah, I know that Nintendo's games are going to probably run beautifully either way because Nintendo puts like extra care and they know how to work handheld devices. I mean, they've gotten pretty great games on 3DS, even though the 3DS is basically kind of processing power is not even close to what this will be. It's even less than a Vita from what I remember, and the Vita runs pretty well. Certain games it can run XCOM. I mean, it's lower res and everything, but it runs XCOM pretty decently. Slow load times, but everything. But 3DS would just, I think, explode if it try to run XCOM.
Well, here's a nightmare scenario for you. Can you imagine playing like Skyrim or like any Elder Scrolls game on? Say you take your Nintendo Switch like out off the dock, and there was like the load speeds are slower than usual. Can you imagine? Oh my god, I would kill myself.
Or if there's lag,
actually comes. Ugh, Jesus, yeah, that'd be terrible.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Like with those type games, like if that actually, I don't know if Elder Scrolls is actually going to be on this console or not, but if it was, like, how do you? Part of that game is like the exploration and having like a beautiful world to explore. How do you? What's the difference going to be there? What's the drop off?
Is there going to be like a draw is the draw distance going to be drastically different from when it's on the dock versus when it's in your hand?
Yeah. As long as the game still looks okay and plays well, that's fine. But I know there's obviously a lot of people out there that wouldn't accept that. They would want like a damn good looking game at all times. And obviously with this console or hybrid console, it's not going to be the same. So this is going to be an interesting thing to look at as time goes on here, in my opinion.
Yeah, I was just looking up. I was curious what the Vita GPU was like, and I'm seeing from GameFAQs that they think. I think they're saying that the GPU is around 200 megahertz, so it's like maybe close to 100 more processing wise. So I don't know. We'll see. I don't know what the Vita could handle. Vita probably could have handled Skyrim, so I don't want to. That's just me looking it up briefly. But I don't know. It should be interesting. It'll be interesting seeing how the Switch performs. I know there's a lot of hype going into it. The January event is actually getting here close. It's getting here soon. It'll be here.
It's going to be
a few weeks now.
I don't want to. I think it's just a little too dramatic, but it's really going to be like not a make or break thing for Nintendo, but it could be like serious consequences if they don't succeed here. Like the console falls flat.
Yeah, the Wii was not like an outlier from what their consoles have been doing ever since Super Nintendo SNES. I feel like console sales have been going down from Nintendo 64 to then GameCube, and the Wii was like spike, and then now Wii U drastically went back down in the opposite direction. So this is sort of the proving ground for Nintendo. If they're trying to appeal to the hardcore gamers, maybe they'll do it. I don't know. Who knows? I think everyone wants Nintendo to succeed, though, because that's everyone's childhood. They want that company to succeed properly because they do offer some innovations. Sometimes it's in the wrong direction, but they have offered innovations in the past.
You don't like swinging around the Wiimote and shit?
Some people do. Some people do like that. I was not a fan, and it just never felt proper.
I think that's like it's it's such a gimmick, like almost like a casual gamer thing. Like people that like don't play video games, but like you go over someone's house and they're like, "Oh, you have the new Nintendo Wii. Oh, this is so cool. I can swing this thing around." And I think that's like what it appeals to. But
like the Wii Sports, where they're doing the boxing and the bowling.
That's
why it's like one of the top best-selling games of all time.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, that was pretty fun. I mean, but I would never want to own something like that. Like, I'm not going to just like wake up in the morning. Damn, I really want to box right now. And just like I'm like punching the air in my room. People walk in like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, I know. I think shockingly, my dad, who doesn't play video games, I know he enjoyed. I think it was the Wii bowling because he would play it with my stepbrothers, from what I remember. So it definitely hit the casual base with the Wii Sports. Not many other games though. But Wii Sports definitely did. But
yeah, it was fun.
Moving on from that tangent, Steam's winter sale has begun. Chris Pereira over at GameSpot wrote, Steam's winter sale has officially gotten underway today and runs until January 2nd at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. As is often the case when the new sales begin, Steam Swords is running a bit slowly at the moment. There isn't much to rush for as this sale, like recent ones, doesn't feature flash deals or anything particularly time-sensitive. It's a straightforward sale, except you can earn 2 free trading cards every day by browsing your discovery queue. There's that. There are far too many discounts to list them all. Among the noteworthy ones are Doom for $20, Stardew Valley for $10, Planet Coaster for $38, Tyranny for $40.49, XCOM 2 for $30, Hyper Light Drifter, for $12, Dirt Rally for $24, Total War Warhammer for $45, Civilization 6, a huge discount of $54.
Damn, bro.
City Skylines, which I do suggest is a pretty good game. You're
buy that game.
It's only $7.49.
Can I run it though?
I don't know. You may have to check with the PC that you have. You have.
God damn it all.
And Rise of the Tomb Raider for $30. Some deals may not show up right away, as Steam can be a bit slow to update in the immediate wake of a launch. But coinciding with the sale, Valve has officially kicked off the Steam Awards. Nominations for this began last month, and you'll have a chance to vote for the winner in different categories each day. Voting earns you a trading cards with the winner set to be announced on December 31st. So there you go. If you guys are looking for some Steam games, the sale is out now. That's exciting. You can go buy some cheap stuff because there's pretty decent deals, like the Stardew Valley for $10. I don't know what it's normally. Is it normally $19.99 on Steam? Can't remember, but I was looking to see if it's for Mac.
Son of a bitch! I'm trying to do a compatibility test right now with City Skylines, but
nice. During the podcast, you could have just waited. No, you got to do it now.
Oh wait a minute, Steam, thank you. Wait, hold on. Damn it all! All right, keep continuing.
Now we're gonna sit here and listen to this riveting stuff as you try to figure out if it's compatible.
I would love to do it, but it wants me to download something on my PC, and it isn't my computer.
Can you run this or whatever it's called?
Yeah, I don't know if that's...
I think you could do a web version of it.
Yeah. I wanted to do that, but then it was like, no, you have to download this desktop app, and like it's like got like 1,000 viruses on it. It steals my social security, my identity.
I've used that before. It doesn't steal. It doesn't kill your computer, but I could be wrong.
Anyway,
oh my god. Moving on to our normal, recurring segment where we talk about basically a crowd fund or a new Steam voted or greenlit game on Steam from the Golden Cartridge website, which is a fantastic website you could check out. I randomly stumbled upon it scrolling through Twitter, and I really enjoy it. It introduces to new games that are trying to be crowdfunded and indie games as well. Last week we talked about High Rise, which looked pretty fascinating, and now we're on to Plague Rogue, their Kickstarter, written by Ryan Donovan. I'm pretty certain he writes all of these. I think he runs it, so that could be right. I don't know. But mix in the refreshing graphics, the twisted fantasy world, and you got the amazing-looking Plague Rogue Kickstarter campaign. Get ready to enter the world consumed by disease. Plague Rogue will put you into the shoes of a lone doctor who once abandoned their home and now returns in search of those who have survived. Being created by Arcade Distillery, the game promises to deliver a dark fantasy world where players will engage in a turn-based tactical strategy and experience roguelike elements. Looking to reach their $3,000 goal, or $30,000 goal, the team hopes to bring this game to life on the PS4, PS Vita, Xbox One, and PC. In the Plague's Road Kickstarter, you'll travel from the safe refuge of your farm through a series of regions progressively more affected by the infernal plague. Each region will be made up of procedurally generated stages to explore, complete with all their own threats, encounters, and rewards. As you continue to explore, objectives will be created and opportunities to improve your character will present themselves. Traveling further into the Plague Lands rewards those brave enough, but remember, your allies may not have the same strength as you. It will be all about choice in Plague Road and how far you are willing to take it. Through Plague Road, Jesus Christmas, you will encounter various enemies and survivors. Survivors will join your community and contribute to the work that needs to be done on the farm. Those survivors that you see have the best skills can accompany you on the road ahead. Finding a good balance of companions could determine just how far you make it. Just as equipped as you can be, the Plague is waiting for you with horrors of all types. You will have to utilize turn-based strategy mechanics to fend off their attacks. Players will have access to various attacks, from spells and hand-to-hand to ranged attacks and special abilities. Beware, though, as survivors can run out of stamina and just stand there waiting for death. Oh, that seems nice. Overall, the Plague Road Kickstarter campaign looks amazing, filled with all the right elements to make quite an amazing game. With the inclusion of so many systems as well as the whole concept and gameplay already down, they should have no problem destroying their goal. Of course, I could not explain everything in this small little write-up, so you can go check out their Kickstarter.
This looks really cool. This game.
Yeah, it looks. It kind of reminds me of. It gave me, with the turn-based, kind of reminded me a little bit of Darkest Dungeon, which I fucking loved.
Well, what was it? All three games we've gone over, the Keeper, High Risers, in this game have all looked really awesome. Like every single one of them. And this game has a really it's really detailed. I'm really kind of surprised. Like usually, obviously with the Keeper, it was a very simplistic looking game, kind of like comparable to Stardew Valley in terms of art style. But like this one looks like it could have been made by any like real major studio. Like it looks really awesome. So something actually I might keep an eye on.
Yeah, who knows how long, though, this Kickstarter will take, because some Kickstarter games take forever to finally get developed. So just putting that out there. So beware. It could, unless it's like greenlit and on Steam, because I feel like those come to early access rather rapidly. I could be wrong, though. But,
well, the Keeper was greenlit, correct? On Steam?
Yeah.
Yeah, good, okay. Because that's the thing. Like I was wondering myself, like, yeah, I mean, they reached their funding goal, but there's more to a game than just reaching your funding and being like, all right, well, here's a copy of the game. So I wonder how long it's going to take for this to finally get rolling.
Mm-hmm. Now we're about to head into some fun times. You excited for this, Gary?
Oh, I always am.
Fun time. We are about to get into the worst games of 2016 based on Metacritic and their review score. Are you excited for this, Gary? Do you think...
Yes, I am. But for our listeners, we're also getting into the best games as well, so it's not going to be depressing.
No, we're just doing worse. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay, absolutely.
I'm gonna start at the back, so it goes from low to even lower. Gotta do that.
Let's just put it this way: I'm not surprised by the first game I'm seeing right now.
Starting off, number 10, worst game. We've got a 38 on Metacritic. It's called Ace Banana for PS4. I didn't even know this was a thing. No, it's not a fruit-themed Phoenix Wright spin-off. That would be far better. Instead, this shooting gallery game, quote-unquote game, with the latter term arguably not applicable, was one of the worst launch titles available for PlayStation VR. It looks ridiculous. I am not going to lie.
Yeah, Ace Banana? Like, I wouldn't even buy that game even if it looked good.
Quote from Game Critics: "It's rare to see a finished title that gets every important design feature completely wrong. Ace Banana manages it, though, and sinks lower than almost any game I've ever played." Game Critics.
That's actually amazing. Holy Jesus.
Moving on to number 9, Coffin Dodgers, that came to PS4 by Wales Interactive. This downloadable racing game finds the aging residents of a retirement village hopping on their scooters to outpace the Grim Reaper. While some reviewers noted a welcome sense of humor, they weren't smiling much at the actual gameplay. Quote, it squanders its interesting premise, and races are plagued with poor track design, ineffective weaponry, and a lack of meaningful content over worth playing. Oh my god.
I feel like, let me put it this way for people that can't see what we're saying. This type of game is something that, say I would just were to walk into a gaming studio right now, no preparation whatsoever, wearing like what I'm wearing right now. I go in there and I kind of just like off the top of my head just come up with a game. I'm looking at a picture right now. It's like, it looks like a guy, like an Amish guy riding on a scooter with an Uzi in his hand. Like,
that's exactly what it is.
Like you're sitting in the studio, you're just like, okay, I have a game idea. Old people with Uzis riding on scooters. It's a racing game.
But what's the premise? They're escaping death. Why not? They're old.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's just bizarre. I don't know.
And like, if you looked at this game and their art style, I feel like you would just easily walk into the studio, say no, and then walk away.
Yeah, seriously.
I don't know who published this, but moving on. Number 8, Alkine's Gun, that came to PS4 as well. I guess that was the worst reviewed one, because normally on Metacritic, they don't have all the reviews don't go to every single one. It's normally one concentrated area. It's either PS4 or Xbox One, depends. The first 2 games in the Death to Spies Cold War stealth action games were far from great, but they weren't anywhere near as bad as this third installment, which critics dismissed as poorly executed Hitman knockoff. This game was created by Maximum Games, by the way. Quote, I cannot recommend this game at all to anybody for any reason. End quote. From CG Magazine.
I love these quotes.
Oh man. We should go to the actual Metacritic and see if we can get fans' quotes, because I'm sure they're glorious. I don't know.
If anybody actually ended up buying these damn games, I feel bad for these people.
Man, I kind of want to play Hitman. Hitman's a fantastic premise and actual gameplay. That didn't look like it was. But moving on to number 7, Umbrella Corp, that came to PC, developed by Capcom. What if Capcom released a Resident Evil game and nobody noticed? Unfortunately, a few reviewers did notice this multiplayer tactical shooter when it appeared in June, and the result is the lowest scoring game in the history of the 20-year-old franchise. Yes, it's even worse than Operation Raccoon City and Survivor. Quote, Umbrella Corp is a big game from a major publisher in a popular franchise in that franchise anniversary year, and it's both awful and dead on arrival. Now I see why Capcom didn't tell anyone that it came out by Game Watcher.
It actually looks good, but yeah, apparently it's god awful.
Yeah. Yeah. Moving on to number 6. I never played it. I don't play these garbage games, but some people do, like YouTubers just play it because it's garbage. I mean, because that brings in viewers, because then they start freaking out over the garbageness that is the game, and then they're like, 2 million views! Because, it's that easy to get 2 million views. Moving on to number 6, 7 Days to Die, coming to Xbox One. I know I was interested in this game. Good thing I never got a chance to... Good thing I never actually looked into it or played it, because I think it was like a survival type game, but apparently it's not good. It's created by Telltale Games, according to this. Interesting. One of the lowest scoring games ever released by Telltale, though they merely published it rather than developed it. Fun fact. This zombie sandbox survival horror game could not navigate the transition from PC to consoles. On the latter, lousy graphics were just the tip of the iceberg of problems. Quote, the game is technically playable, but that's the best that can be said of it, according to GameSpot.
Okay.
I love these quotes. They're fantastic. Moving on to number 5. I've never even heard of this. Landgreaser Reincarnation Tensei came to 3DS. It looks like they just took a picture from the anime, popped it in here, but it's by Axis Games. The latest installment in the long-running Langris tactical RPG fantasy series could be a, quote, franchise killer, end quote, in the words of one reviewer, thanks to lackluster visual stories and controls. Yeah, I never even heard of this. I don't know how it's a franchise killer when I never even heard of the franchise to begin with. But tweet us at Two Jersey Kids to let me know if I'm being ignorant. Quote, with sluggish gameplay, off-putting presentations, and baffling poor design decisions at every turn, Langrisser Reincarnation Tensei is an entirely underwhelming revival of a once-beloved series and a subpar SRPG besides. What? Okay, that's Nintendo life.
It's kind of depressing, but yeah.
Yeah, they fucking killed it. Weeping Doll comes in at number 4. I remember talking about this on the drop. Looks somewhat interesting. By Oasis Games. Despite being one of the cheapest games you'll find for the new PlayStation VR headset, this horror puzzler is still overpriced, according to critics who complained about the abrupt ending and lack of scares. Quote, the muddled mismatch of time periods could be forgiven if the writing wasn't so woeful and the voice acting is so unintentionally amusing. End quote, by Push Square.
This next one is bizarre.
Soda Drinker Pro that came to Xbox One apparently by SnowRunner Games. Easily the worst beverage drinking simulation released for any console in 2016, Soda Drinker Pro is an Xbox One port of a 2013 PC game. In either incarnation, it's intended as a joke, but critics are quick to point out that it's one that isn't worth shelling out $10 for, especially when you can simply watch the free launch trailer to appreciate it. Even Vivian Clark, a second secret game hidden within that joke, is problematic. Quote, Soda Drinker Pro is a humorous concept, and while entertaining in theory, after 1 minute of playtime, you'll have experienced all that's offered, end quote, by Windows Central. It looks awful. Not gonna lie.
Put things into perspective for our listeners. The picture is a cat sitting in front of a soda.
With I think like a sofa and then a door in the background, and some random. Yeah. I feel like are they in water or a box? What is happening? I don't know.
I feel like I've never made a video game in my life or know how to, but I feel like I could have made this game.
Okay, I don't know. I've never heard of this game either. Dino Denny's Kickoff Revival came to PS4. It's number 2 on the list by Digital Lounge and Dino Denny, because they had to put their name in it. The first entry in more than 14 years in the one-time award-winning soccer series does little to advance the game beyond its late 1980s origin. It's also incredibly buggy. The results, according to critics, seems almost more dated than the original. That's pretty bad. Quote, what? What were you saying?
I think it's Dino Denny's, by the way.
Dino Denny's? I like Dino.
Dino?
Yeah, Dino.
They're dinosaurs in this
game?
game?
Exactly. That's what I thought. That's why I was kind of intrigued. Because I thought, oh, there's dinosaurs playing soccer. Quote, a bad idea poorly realized. It's hard to argue that Kickoff has any place in the modern world, and this badly made revival seems to prove it. Damn. End quote, by Metro Game Central. And do I get a drum roll from you, Gary, for number 1?
I don't even know if this game deserves
Ghostbusters came to PS4 and I think other platforms by Activision. Shocking. Comes in at number 1. Metacritic's official worst game of 2016. Sure, the all-female reboot of Ghostbusters that arrived in theaters last summer had its critics, but at least it somewhat delivered what it promised. Roughly 2 hours of supernatural-themed action comedy. This video game tie-in, however, is barely even a game, and asks that you fork over even more cash for what reviewers described as a humorless slog. In fact, it's barely even a tie-in. The characters in the game are not the ones in the film. The shooter also scored poorly with 32 with critics on Xbox One, and it's hard to get much lower than the PS4's version's user score of 0.6. Quote, Ghostbusters is deplorable, cynical bit of licensed drivel that wouldn't be worth the $50 asking price if the instruction manuals were printed on a $50 bill, end quote, by Polygon. Damn.
Dude, they should stop. Anytime that these, like, I remember back in the day there was a Haunted Mansion game that came out because of the Haunted Mansion movie. That game was trash. I remember, at least from what I remember. But like, they gotta stop doing this shit. This never works.
This game come to Steam? They normally have fantastic reviews on Steam. I just want to check. Where are the reviews? Reviews. I want.
Well, I don't want to. I don't mean to get into our next segment, but I'm just making a general statement here. It's amazing how, every time I look at this Metacritic, it's like you have the critic score, which is like always really high, and then you look at the user score, and it's like 2 points below that. And in some cases, which we'll get to, it's like 6 points lower. 6 points lower.
Interesting.
I mean, seriously? Yeah, you'll see in a minute here.
Huh. I don't know what's going on with my microphone. I hope it's not freaking people out with the sound, but it's giving me all sorts of vibes. But we'll push through it. Like I said, it's sort of like a cacophony of shit right now since the fact that I'm in good word. I know I'm not very good with words, but I'm in Florida, so I'm just pulling together everything, all the resources I have to try to record this. So be thankful, damn it! Moving on. The best games of 2016. I think should I just run from top down?
How many games are
There's a lot. I'm not going to go all the way down, obviously.
Let's do the top 20.
Top 20? I'm going to start from 20 and move up.
All
Starting at number... Of course you wanted to do 20. Number 20 is Stardew Valley for PC. Also, there are repeats of games because they reviewed well on different consoles. Just FYI, I'll skip them if I read them already. Number 20, Stardew Valley for PC. But yeah, moving on. 19, Titanfall 2 for PS4. 18, Owlboy for PC. 17, Dark Souls 3, which I fucking love Dark Souls. It's just such a good, I don't know, it's the gameplay is solid, and it just has a great loop and gameplay loop that keep people there. It kind of reminds me of old style games where they're so difficult, but yet it feels so good to play that you just want to keep playing it. You know? Ja feels? Ja feels. Moving on, Axiom Verge to Wii U. Already said Dark Souls 3. Res Infinite to PS4. Kentucky Route Zero Act number 4. That was that PC. Looked like, I guess, episode. Number 13. Number 12. NBA 2K17 on Xbox One. 11. Steven's Sausage Roll. Got a 90. Which is pretty impressive. It came in at number 11. Shocking no one. Overwatch. In the top 10, Overwatch appears 3 times. Overwatch for PS4 comes in at number 10. Inside for PS4, which is a fantastic game from Playdead. I love Inside. Playing it, it's such good storytelling through the platforming of it, and the atmosphere and the art style is fantastic. Number 8 is Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Blood and Wine. That's like the only one where the user scores are just as high because everyone in the internet whacks off The Witcher because, The Witcher, yeah!
Yeah, I agree, dude. Thanks for saying it.
Like, I like The Witcher, but I'm not like, yes, it's the best game ever! Oh! Yeah, that's not me. And if you're one of those people out there, fuck you! Sorry, if I curse too loud, Mom, sorry. Number 7, Forza Horizon 3, Xbox One. 6 and 5 are both Overwatch for PC and Xbox One. Overwatch is a great game. 4, another Witcher 3. Fucking Witcher 3. Number 3 is Out of the Park Baseball 17, which is kind of shocking. It gets a 92 from critics, and the user score is 3.5, because I guess people wanted to play a game, but if I remember correctly, I played out the previous Out of the Park baseball games, and there's no gameplay whatsoever. It's basically like a sim of you putting together random players that aren't like real people based on stats, and you try to build up a team. It's kind of, I enjoyed it. I remember playing it during shitty, boring classes in college.
which were all classes, basically.
Somewhere interesting. Number 2, Inside for Xbox One, where it originally came out. And number 1, Uncharted 4, A Thief's End, that came to PS4, and the user score for some reason is 7.9. Fuck all you.
People, I don't know.
I hate people. People, besides our listeners, I hate all other people. If you become a listener and you are normal people, you officially switched to my love category. But right now, if you're not a listener, I hate you so much. Especially, you automatically jump to my hate list if you say PC Master Race and you truly believe it. Fuck that shit. Fuck that shit. I'm fine with you thinking that you like their PC games better, runs better, sure. But I like, chilling on the couch. So I know you can hook it up to your computer and all these fucking GPUs and teraflops and RAM. Blah, 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 blah. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Hey, guys, I'm just saying I like everything. I'm not taking his viewpoint.
Nope. He is.
So, yeah.
He's completely on my side. Our final topic, it's not really a news article. We're just going to talk about what was your worst game that you played this year, Gary? What was the one that stuck in your craw that you fucking regret buying?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I hate this game, but I think the most disappointing game I've played that I've owned would probably be Star Wars Battlefront, I guess. If I'm looking at my shelf right now. I mean, I could say No Man's Sky, but I didn't have the hype that people had for that game. I think it would be a tie between No Man's Sky and
Also, I feel like people just whack off to insulting No Man's Sky.
Exactly.
Fucking Sean Murray, I hate him so much. Oh yeah.
Anyway, so Battlefront and No Man's Sky would probably be my most disappointing titles because No Man's Sky, while I didn't have the hype that a lot of people had for that game, I was still disappointed by it due to the shallowness of the game. And then Battlefront was really disappointing. I felt like it was just really, really basic in terms of when you go online. You're just basically shooting at people. I mean, it's a beautiful game. It looks amazing, but it just didn't really offer anything of interest to me, and which is surprising because I love pretty much anything Star Wars. So if I'm saying it's bad, it's pretty shocking. So yeah, worst games for me would be a tie between No Man's Sky and Battlefront. I am, however, hoping that Battlefront 2, which is apparently in development, is better.
Shocking to no one. But for me, my worst game, I don't know if you can guess it, Gary, but it was, if you listen to the podcast, you may understand. It's not worst, but definitely disappointing. Was Mafia 3. Oh, man. I was so disappointed. I was excited for the game. The storytelling right off the bat was fantastic. But it just, once you got to the actual gameplay, it just felt so boring. They had some good ideas, but they didn't flush out the world at all. It was such a pain to drive. It felt so boring driving from the bayou all the way up to the city. And you're basically doing the same missions over and over. The stealth element wasn't that exciting. I don't know. That was the most disappointing one. I don't want to get more into it because I did a Mafia 3 discussion back on episode 8, I think, or something. But, yeah. Let's move on to our favorites. You can give me the top 4, top 3, whatever you can think of for favorite games that came out this year. Because I know Battlefront came out last year, but you actually... Games that you played this year for the first time.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Well, I'm pretty much only going to have... I'll have two. I'll have two best games for me this year, at least that I've really enjoyed. So Uncharted 4, obviously, it was the end. Well, maybe the end of Drake and everything. I think it was a really good way of ending the series. I thought the game was very good. Had the classic, Uncharted story. It really just, in my personal opinion, it delivered in every way that it could have. I know there's some people out there that, are like Uncharted gurus and have like these higher level opinions than me. I'm just a peasant compared to everybody else. So yeah, I thought Uncharted 4 was really good. And
folks, before he announces what his favorite game is, do you think miracles can happen? I feel like I know what the second game is going to be. Is it going to be a miracle, folks? Let's see.
Stardew Valley.
Oh, it's a miracle. Miracles do happen.
This is just a recent development for me here. Because I've had this game for about 2 weeks now because it just released on PS4 recently. But I've loved the game. It's something that I can play pretty much at any time of the day. I don't have to get too invested in it at any time, although there are times where I play the game for like a couple hours, a few hours on end. I just love everything to it. The mechanics of the game are great. There's a lot to it. There's so much to do on any given day. You can mine, you can fight monsters, you can fish, you can farm, explore the world, talk to people. Although I don't really talk to people that much in that game yet. I have a lot of stuff to take care of. But
you're an antisocial hero, apparently.
As of right now, I mean, I have so many years ahead of me because it's pretty much open-ended. But it's just really, everything is so well done. Like the seasons are well done. the fact that there's like different events that happen per season. Um, Obviously, you get like you get mail from people, which kind of develop into quests sometimes, and it's just really cool how like the little things they add into that game add up to make the game great. So yeah, top few games for me that I would have for this year anyway would be Uncharted 4 and Stardew Valley.
Pretty crazy. I know for my favorites of this year, I have 4. I was about to do 8, but I have 4 from what I remember. Let's start off. 4, they're not ranked in any way, but kind of in my head. But 4, we have Rocket League. I loved me some Rocket League. I think it came out this year. Fucking fantastic game. Simple soccer with cars. They've been adding more stuff. I want to get back into it because some of my friends play it. But fantastic game. Feels amazing. Some of the games are like, even though I don't know anybody playing it, it feels intense, especially when it goes to overtime or it's like tied late in the game and you're trying to score that final goal. That's a game we should definitely get into. Get some of your other friends to get it, and then we'll just, somehow play. I don't know if you can do playoffs or anything, but it'd be fantastic.
Yeah, I used to play that game a lot back in the day.
Back in the day, you mean earlier in the year?
Yep.
Back in the day. Back in my time, when I was a young whippersnapper. Next one I was thinking of is Overwatch. Fucking adore that game. I've gotten back into it. I remember I tried to stream it, but stupid Wi-Fi freaking out on me. I wasn't able to play before it crashed. But I really enjoy Overwatch. I love it so much. So it's like team-based. Just I don't know. It felt different than normal first-person shooters where it's all about kill the other team as much as you can. Where this is more objective-based. And I like the simplistic objectives of either capturing an area with your different heroes with different abilities, or just basically pushing a payload forward and trying to get to different sections. So it's kind of like a chess match between who picks what. And I did hop in now, and I like the idea that teams can only pick one of a certain hero now, which makes it so much better. So you don't have 5 bastions, which are... If you're not familiar with the game, Bastions is basically a robot who basically can transform it into a stationary turret and just unload in a certain area. Where I remember early on in the game, there'd be, when you're attacking, the other team would have, I think, 3 Bastions just peppering a certain area, so no one could. It would be more difficult. But now you can only have one. So it kind of reminds me of I think Dota does that, or in League of Legends, where you can only pick one character per team, so you don't have just a overpowered character when it comes to defending or attacking. Everyone can play as it. It's only one person. So if he sucks at it, or he or she sucks at it, then you can blame them. But Overwatch, fantastic game. I like how they're introducing new characters for free, giving new maps and everything. I like the ability to collect loot, the boxes to get different skins. It doesn't change the in-game play at all. You can look cooler, and you can also do little spray paint, cute little images that you get. I don't know, it's random that I enjoy. Next one, Uncharted 4. You already said the reasons why. It's fucking the last one. I'm sure they'll probably make more. I don't know if Naughty Dog will do it. They'll probably, after a few years, maybe pawn it off to a different studio. Maybe with a different character, but doing the same stuff. Fantastic storytelling. I honestly love the story. This story the most. I don't know why, because I felt like there was less supernatural element, and it was more just a serious tone and kind of like a mystery of what happened to the pirates going to that city. I'm not going to spoil what city it is, but I mean, you can look up and you probably find out. And my final one that I was thinking of. Shit, there's so many other games I want to add. Tales from the Borderlands I want to add. Because great, but I know it came out last year. I was going to say Inside, because that was a fantastic platformer. Storytelling through 2D without any really dialogue. It was mostly done through the atmosphere and the sounds and just the visuals in itself. A little weird ending, but still a fantastic game that I suggest people go check it out. And then I also want to give a shout out to Darkest Dungeon, fantastic game. There's so many games now that I realize I I feel like I picked the good ones this year that I'm into, and that I need to get back to playing some more. But Darkest Dungeon is fantastic roguelike. I'm not the best at it, but my characters always die or become super stressed. But so that's my favorites. Gary, we got through everything. We're over an hour, so they're getting a nice long episode. What are you planning for the rest of the week? Are you going to go see some Rogue One again? Because I know you apparently enjoyed it. Did you want to speak your piece about it?
Well, I could get into. Well, that's a large topic to get into, but okay. So I'll be playing Stardew Valley, pretty much for the rest of the week. I'm going to mix in some Destiny, because a lot of my guys that I play with now have off, which is awesome. So we'll get to play a little bit more than we usually do. NHL will be mixed in there somewhere. I'm trying to get Battlefield 1 for Christmas, but Amazon might deliver later than Christmas, so I might not get it then. But in terms of Star Wars, I do want to see that movie again. But my friends put so much stock in like these pompous reviewers online that they're being kind of steered away from watching it. Personally, I really like the movie. Now, that doesn't mean I think the movie was spectacular. I don't think that The Force Awakens or Rogue One were great movies. I think they were both good. But I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was entertaining. I thought that it was better than The Force Awakens in some ways. I liked the more mature tone in Rogue One, as opposed to the more like, I don't want to say kiddish, but more lighthearted feel in The Force Awakens. The action in in Rogue One too, if you're really into action scenes, was phenomenal, especially in the last half of that movie, maybe the last half hour. It was just like, it was ridiculous, the stuff that was going on. And obviously Vader made some insanely epic appearances in this movie. Adam, you will love. I was smiling you'll see the scenes. I'm not going to give them away, but oh my God, the couple times he appears in that movie, I was loving every second of it. So I enjoyed the movie. I'm really looking forward to episode 8. I hope that, I know I'm getting off more in a tangent, but
you're fine. Classic Two Jersey Kids.
So for my wish list, okay, if I want to make one for episode 8, I hope that they obviously develop the characters more. I just hope we learn more about them, but I also hope that they also present more conflicts that the characters have to deal with. I thought that episode 7, like with The Force Awakens, there was never really like any real danger in the movie. At least for like any of the real characters. Like Rey, obviously you knew, like, you just knew who was going to live, who wasn't, who had a chance to die. The way I look at it, I hope that one day I look back a few years from now, and like when episode 9's done and I've seen episode 9, I hope people look back and like we can look at episode 7 as a good way of like handing the torch off from episode 6 to episode 7, and then the beginning of something else. I hope episode 8 becomes its own movie and they really like just take it in a different direction. That's what I hope.
That's why I do like episode 7. I think it was just a tricky transition on how to, because it's been gone so long, and this is like the first jump back into Star Wars. You don't want to F it up, because then people are going to be worried that it's going to be as worse as, like, is it going to be like the prequel? So that's why I feel like they gave in like nostalgia trips with the old characters and trying to make it feel like Star Wars. And now hopefully they can branch off for the next two movies and see, like, looking back, you can say, oh, this is kind of like, because right now looking at the original trilogy, I feel like A New Hope was like the weaker link in it, but that's just me. But it's still on its own, still a really great movie, and I feel like that could be happening with episode 7, where you look back and it may not be as the standard as if these next two movies are like really great and tell their own story and branch off more than what you expected from what the normal Star Wars is. And I mean, it may pleasantly surprise you. You may like enjoy these next two like amazingly, and you just look back and say, "Oh, I appreciate episode 7 for what it did and getting us into these new characters."
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. I think episode 4, A New Hope, that's like the one movie I think out of the entire franchise that really like shows its age, because obviously like back then they didn't have the funding that they do now. I mean, they have ridiculous amounts of money to spend on these movies, but that movie was a good movie. I mean, it was a good movie. It wasn't the best movie, but it was good. It served its purpose. But the biggest problem I have now with Star Wars critics is everyone just takes things to the extremes. I'll put things into perspective. Last night I watched a little bit. I watched The Empire Strikes Back the other day, and then I watched Return of the Jedi, and then
Nice.
I started watching a little bit of Force Awakens
Solid.
last night. But I'm looking online and I'm just reading through reviews, and I had to almost teach myself now not to do it because it just like pisses me off. People were ripping apart Rey as a character, and like they just there's so many plot holes, man.
I like Rey.
They were like, how did she why is she good at everything right from the start? I shit you not. This guy goes, how did she maintain like that kind of like weight and muscle mass living in the desert and being like abandoned her entire life? I'm like, dude, this is Star Wars, okay? There's a magical force that people use to choke people out. You're really going to start questioning the body muscle mass? Like, I can't stand these critics anymore. It's just so absurd. Watch the movie.
I was gonna
be entertained.
I was gonna say that, you know, I feel like they'll answer those questions about why she's good at this stuff already. She was probably already trained as a Jedi in some fashion before, but I was gonna say is that they'll explain it in the upcoming movies. Stop expecting all the answers to be happening right now. And then you went and said like they said that ridiculous thing about muscle mass, which you can't really combat somebody if they're gonna nitpick a movie that much. You gotta just ignore them, honestly, because nothing is ever gonna be good enough. They have to find something to poke holes into it.
The thing about Rey is like, I mean, with her character, yeah, she was able to do a lot of things, but like at the same time, they just completely ignore the fact that Luke was working on a farm one day, met Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then suddenly he's leading the assault on the Death Star. Like okay, let's just completely forget that ever happened. But
and he's like they barely mentioned that he's a good pilot. It just happens.
Exactly. Like, let's not get too crazy here with the logical process of like how these movies develop. How about we just enjoy the movie for what they are, the movies for what they are, because that's what made them great in the first place. They were just great movies. They were enjoyable and they were fun to watch, and they had great characters.
Because you could pick apart any of the Star Wars movies, no matter how good they are, or any movie for that matter. If you look hard enough, there will be plot holes galore. That's what makes the fact that certain good movies or great movies are the ones that minimize them so much, or the sort of people forget about them from the intriguing plot and everything that's going on. Whereas bad movies sort of, how do I say, they sort of kind of focus on, like, it's hard not to focus on the plot holes, and that's what make, like, it's horrible writing. It's like a culmination of it all. But, like, you're going to find plot holes for everything if you look hard enough. Fucking muscle mass. You could say the same thing about Luke. He's living on a farm, probably eating just, like, stupid vegetables on a desert. How the fuck does he have, like, muscles? Come on.
Yeah, it's absurd. These people are just... They just want Star Wars to fail. Like they think that the original trilogy will never be topped. They can't get past the original trilogy. They just want a copy of the same thing over and over again, and they will just never accept anything new or different from what they're used to, and it just bothers the hell out of me.
I would really love it if instead of doing like, you know how they're doing the side movies, which I guess Rogue One, I guess it was a story that people were interested in. I kind of wanted, like, with side movies, do something other than the main storyline from what people know. Like, I feel like it would have been fantastic if they tried to tell a story from, like, the Knights of the Republic era. Like, I feel like that would have been amazing. There's so much content to draw from. Like, you can make your own story if you want, because Jedis have been around for so many years. You can make something canon.
They could be great movies. Well, see, the problem is that those would be great movies, but they already declared that once Disney bought Star Wars, they basically made everything else irrelevant. Like, none of that stuff ever happened. So, but what the hell was I going to say? The good thing about Rogue One, I will say, and I don't want to keep going on this, but one thing good about Rogue One is that it really, even though it's a standalone movie, and even though we know what's going to happen, like, obviously the Rebels aren't going to win. They're going to get beaten. It adds value to the Star Wars franchise. Like, there's stuff that you don't think about, and you'll see when you watch the movie. Mm-hmm. There's stuff that you don't think they're going to really touch on that they do, and it's like, wow. Like, I'm going to look at A New Hope completely different now, and you'll see what I mean by that. But they really did a good job with, providing value from a standalone movie where we already know it's going to happen, because that's what the downfall of the prequels was, is that we already knew it was going to happen. We knew that Darth Vader or Anakin was going to turn into Darth Vader. The problem with the prequels is
they
that
just
the writing
did
was
a
terrible.
poor job getting there.
Yeah, the writing was terrible. The actors were terrible. Well, not actually, the actors weren't awful. The writing was just so bad.
They didn't get much direction, and they're basically doing it on green screen, everything.
Yeah, we knew it was going to happen, but they didn't provide anything interesting to happen to lead us to the final outcome. Like episode 3 was, this is me personally, but that was my favorite episode of the prequels, because it had like weight to it. Like stuff happened in that movie that mattered. Episode 1 and 2 were meaningless to me. I didn't give a fuck, because it was just like filler until the final event. But anyway,
we can talk about the prequel more, but I feel like they sort of focused on the wrong character for the prequels. I feel like they should have. I don't know. I feel like Obi-Wan would have been Obi-Wan. Because that actor, what was his name?
Ewan McGregor.
Yeah, he was really good. I thought he was good in those.
He was good in Obi-Wan. He was good as Obi-Wan. Yeah, even with terrible writing.
And I think he should have been the main focus of the prequels, the main story. Which there's a YouTube video about what if the prequels were good. That does, I think, a good rendition of like what would actually make it good is focus on Obi-Wan and then try to create that brotherly bond that him and Anakin have, and then have that downfall where it weights more, and actually have Darth Maul be fucking last longer than one movie, because Darth Maul was fucking awesome.
It was supposed to be like an emotional thing when at the end, like when Obi-Wan defeats Anakin and Anakin's like in flames and he's dying and everything. Like that was supposed to be like an emotional event, but like it really doesn't feel like it, because there was never like that much of a connection between them, other than then like, like on screen, like, yeah, you can tell that they're friends, but like there's never like anything that makes you feel that way. Like, oh, I really care about Anakin. I know what's going to happen. I don't want to see it happen, but you know it's going to happen eventually, and it's like gut wrenching to watch it. It never happened like that.
Yeah, like what is the one lines, like the fact that they were brothers or something he said, but you didn't feel that throughout the prequels. You didn't feel like they were brothers or they were I don't know. That we can go on the prequels more and more, but yeah, I think that's it for this episode. Yeah. They get a longer episode this week, because we may not be doing one for next week. I may be busy. I don't know. We'll figure it out, because honestly, there's not going to be any articles, and I'll be busy all next week. So I don't know if there's going to be one, but me and Gary will talk it out. We'll let you know on the Twitter at 2JerseyKids. Gary, do you have anything left to say to the kiddos out there that are listening?
I'll be honest. I think I've said everything I have to say. So I'm going to say peace to all y'all. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoy this one. It's a little bit longer, obviously, than usual. So hope you all enjoy our banter, our rants we've had on certain subjects, our unscripted rants. So peace out to all you. Love you all. Yeah, again, thank you so much for being here. Honestly, recording this podcast has really brought my spirits up. I was really down in the beginning, and now I feel happy talking with my best friend, Gary. And to all you best friends out there listening. So if you are a new listener, thank you so much for listening. Please hit that subscribe button, and please give us a 5-star rating. That'd be fantastic on iTunes, or whatever rating you want to give us, but at least give us feedback. If you don't want to give us 5 stars, let us know what we can improve on. Please go follow us on Twitter at 2JerseyKids, and we'll be posting more stuff. Follow Gary at RealScavenger18. He posts pictures when he plays Destiny or whatever he's playing, like Stardew Valley. But he's very witty on Twitter. I'm hyping you up, Gary. Damn right. But other than that, thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a good holiday. Can't wait for the new year to get here. So thank you all so much for being here. Keep playing those video games. Love you all. Peace out, yo. Bye.